Good evening, good afternoon, bonsoir, buenas noches to investors in North and South America. 我係國際 investor， 안녕하세요，各位早晨。Good morning to investors in Asia. Buenas noches. Good night to investors in Europe and Africa. I'm Daniel Yu speaking from Hong Kong. It's 24th October here and 23rd in Wall Street. The market condition that I want to talk this time is concerning 4 continuation trends. Dow Jones continues the weak trend of falling. Some stocks can continue to buy while market is falling and of course profitable. The Russian-Ukraine conflict will continue. The continuation trend of rate increasing. Last week, I said that DJIA is in truncation of wave 5, but the counting of Elliot Wave thus has 2 methods. The first one is like this, starting with the first wavelet as wave 1, and then wave 2, and wave 3 ends at about half of the whole basic wave, and wave 5 is on the far end bottom. This method is that wave 3 should be the most explosive wave and starts with the intersection of Tenkan Sen and Kinjun Sen of Ichimoku. People may ask, there are altogether 5 lines in Ichimoku. Which line is the most important? Some insist on this line and some that line. Some said it should be the Tenkan Sen, for in Japanese it means conversion line. We are actually fighting for a change. Some said it should be the Kinjun Sen, for in Japanese it means baseline. Therefore, we should base upon it. Actually, in different wave conditions, they have different performances. To my experience, better use the intersection of these 2 lines as changing point, no matter facing upside or downside. So using the intersection of Tenkan Sen and Kinjun Sen as starting point of wave 3 is one of the nice methods. Let's take the retreat of wave 4 and starting of wave 5 according to the Ichimoku cloud. Another counter method is like this. Use the breaking through of Ichimoku cloud as wave 1 and starting of wave 2 is the retreat and wave 3 is the longest and most explosive wave and wave 4 form a double bottom. We can know when will the truncation ends. So that is what we should watch carefully now. When the Tenkan Sen intersects with the Kinjun Sen, that is the end of truncation of wave 5, and when it penetrates the Ichimoku cloud, it is a confirmation. Chart analysis is like this, especially in Elliot Wave. There are a lot of methods in counting the waves, but please do not rely on personal likes and dislikes. Must depend on reasoning. For further understanding, please refer to my teaching videos of A7, wave theory, and H8 technical indicators. There will be concise explanation of counting the waves of truncation and Ichimoku, and above all with certain tests to let you understand the progress of your own self. As for Nasdaq, the trend is weaker than Dow Jones. For the low of Nasdaq 10088 on October 13 is much lower than that of 10572 of September 30th. That is the first bottom of the curve double bottom. DJIA had already penetrated the watershed of 29562 and thus 3 major indices confirm entering into bear market. Therefore, truncation should end here. But for Nasdaq, the first bottom is at 10572 of September 30th, matches with the low of June 16th at 10565. The second bottom is much lower at October 13th of 10088. Thus, it is not a double bottom and just part of the downward channel, which denotes it is still falling. So last video I said Nasdaq is in extension of wave 5. For strategy is to choose a powerful stock stronger than the index, which is AAPL. There is a statistic that Apple event will make the price fall every September, such as in 2021, 2020, 2018, 2017, and 2015. Please refer to the express of September 7th, 2022. Now it has fallen, which means the time of buying has come, and trend of AAPL is really stronger than Nasdaq. The low of AAPL on October 13 is at 134.37, which is much higher than the low of June 16 at 129.04. There is no doubt on the development of the business of Apple, especially the Apple Glass will come out by the end of this year or early next year. Some people think that the rebound should start a bull market here, and some said that the downtrend has not yet changed. We can enter into the chart of Dow Jones and can observe that this double bottom is too weak and time span is too short. But from September to mid-October, the power is too weak to change the market trend and may develop into other patterns. We can also observe that there's an ascending triangle formed from June to August. But after the breaking through and finish the profit-taking span, it turned down again. This time maybe in another style. Anyway, we have to observe. So for strategy in bear market, we better choose stocks of high dividends. Thus, if it continues to drop, we still can get dividends. When it goes up, it's up to your decision whether to sell it or not. One of the best examples is the Global X Nasdaq 100 cover, that is a QYLD. It's an ETF which can make a lot of people happy, for it pays out dividends every month of US dollar 20 cents. In July 2021, when the market price is at $22, but the dividend of 2020 is $2.5449, which means you only need 8.6 years to gain back all the capital you invested, and the rest inside your account is totally a profit. Now the previous closing price is at 16.13, and dividend of 2021 is at 2.8505, which means the ratio is at 5.65. So less than 6 years, you can earn back all your capital, and the rest is a total profit. It can make people happy because it pays out dividend every month, so people can take those dividends for small reinvestment. But mine also the disadvantage is the handling charges will be more. That is 12 times a year, and also a 30% tax no matter how many times it is given out or in which stock. One more point to mind that when buying such an ETF, the focus is in dividend rather than the price, for the price keep falling in the past 2 years. But anyway, the coverage of holding these stocks in dividend normally is quite wide. So no matter in prosperity or recession, there are still some components in well performance and some weaker. Please check the handling charges, for the difference between this brokerage firm and that firm sometimes is very big. For the past week, I also recommended some high dividend stocks in the Express concerning PG several times, and it really worked out at once. Together with MMM, they just popped up of the 20 SMA. Actually, they cope with the successful breakthrough of Dow Jones. They are worthwhile buying. Also, the Coke, KO said last time, it is also of high dividend stock. The price now is 55.96, and the whole year of 2022 can get a dividend of $1.68. Superficially, the PE ratio is 33.3, not extremely attractive, but one more point to mind, the dividend rate is increasing year by year for half a century. So it's another stock which can make investors happy every year and can last for half a century. For Pepsi, the same. The price is at 173.06 and dividend of 2021 is 4.2475. PE is 40.74. Even not as attractive as the Coke, but the 250 SMA line is stronger than the Coke and price is above the year line. It is not only for Christmas and Easter as said last December, it is also for Halloween of next week and Thanksgiving of next month. As for military stocks, the demand is still quite high. The meeting of Biden and Putin in G20 of Bali on November 15th and 16th is not yet confirmed. Even really missed, it's quite hard to stop the fighting in just a single meeting, but nuclear threat will still exist, even sometimes weaker but sometimes stronger. The West learned a lesson that the supply of weapons to Ukraine after the fighting started is too late, for a lot of cities already bombarded. So in case of Taiwan, the best way is to supply enough weapons to prevent starting of a war, so as to solve the problem by peaceful means. That is why they want to establish production line of weapons and research centers in Taiwan so as to make the supply abundant. So put an eye on military manufacturers. Anyway, what investors care most should be the demand for weapons. Russia is going to have a nuclear test soon, Anyway, this nuclear crisis is the highest since the Cuba Missile Crisis in 1962. For those that wish to understand the Cuba nuclear crisis more, you can watch a Hollywood movie known as 13 Days. But what happens if the tensions are lowered suddenly? Would the price of military stocks drop sharply? The chance still exists, and investors must prepare well for it. There are two stocks which are just half military and half commercial. The AAR Corporation is an original equipment manufacturer, OEM. It supplies equipment to government and commercial aviation companies. The coverage includes Defense Department and passenger airlines. The most famous user is the Boeing 737 MAX, which will be back to sky soon. So both Boeing BA and AAR Corporation AIR will be benefited, for the clients of Boeing are the same, including defense and general passenger clients. So no matter the fighting carries on or not, their business is quite stable. Finally, I have to talk on market sentiment. Focus on the market is still on interest rate, but a little paralyzed. In the past week, the first 4 days of Dow Jones are still in narrow range, and Friday closing is at 31082.56. The big white candlestick brought about a rise of 748 points. This is strong enough to confirm the pullback finished and start the uptrend. For in the Ichimoku, Tenkan Sen and Kinjun Sen just intersected after market closing. So we can expect this wave of rebound will penetrate the Ichimoku green cow and ends at 32664 or 34282. But should adjust the level every now and then. The market sentiment is that they expect the rate hike in FOMC of November 1st to 2nd will be of 75 basis points, just 25 basis points higher than the release of CPI in mid-October, but it will be the fourth straight time to increase for 75 basis points, which is a rare case. So, is inflation controlled or not? It is really lowered from 9.1% to 8.2%, but the market is dissatisfied with it under so many doses of rate increasing is still in such a high position. So even recession comes, it will not be too serious. For employment situation is still quite nice. So what should we mind is the statement after the FOMC meeting. It surely will affect the midterm election on Super Tuesday of November the 8th. Now, hawkish speeches dominates. But what would happen after the November meeting? Expectation is the interest rate will meet its ceiling in May. And now what the market waiting is the GDP on October 27th, Thursday. Core PCE is what the Fed care most and still at 4.9%. Also have to mind the employment need report next Friday. But actually, what sentiment governs the market is that who will firmly forecast the end of rate increasing cycle, both the time and level. The San Francisco Fed Chair Daly is forecasting the rate hike should cut to 50 basis points, the first Dovish speech. This is a turning point. Mind that the salary of San Francisco Fed Chair is as double as the president in Washington headquarters. So when will the bear market end? Still hard to say. Hopefully by the end of 2022 or first quarter of 2023. So see you again on Halloween Day. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, bye bye.